Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, September 17, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons on the path of these tropical systems that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, let me know what that's been like in your year recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the United States Climate Prediction Center's Global Tropics Hazards Outlook. And we can see by the look of things, the hurricane season is about to ramp up because these are the predictions that are for the time period from September 25 to October 1, as well as October 2 to October 8. And we can see the Caribbean, and not only the Caribbean, but even the main development region right here between the Caribbean and Africa has a lot in store for the future. And keep in mind that all of these are representing above normal rainfall, if not tropical cyclone formation probability. We can see the red and white patterns that represent a 20% chance of cyclone formation within that time frame across portions of the central to the western Caribbean, the southern Gulf of Mexico, as well as portions of the main development region. And it's not only for a 20% chance, we even see 40% up to 60% probability for that time period as we wrap up the month of September. So we definitely have to be on the lookout. And we also have to be on the lookout for the above normal rainfall that's expected. We can see a 50% chance of above normal rainfall across diverse same spots that have the chances for cyclone formation within that time frame. And it's something similar for October 2 to October 8. So we better be on the alert, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what happens. And just like clockwork, we have the latest update that just came from the US National Hurricane Center showing their 7-day graphical tropical weather look. An hour ago, all we saw was this right here, which is basically the remnants of Gordon. We remember Tropical Storm Gordon, and it was more so of a naked swirl, downgrading back to a tropical depression. And now it has a chance of getting its act together, a 60% chance. Will it still get the name Gordon, or will it get another name? We'll see how that goes. Either way, the item of our focus is this system that there's been a lot of talk on social media about possibly bringing a lot of rainfall to portion of the central and western Caribbean, including Jamaica. So we better keep a close watch to see what unfolds. If we take a look at what the Hurricane Center just stated, keep in mind that this update just came out at 7:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:23 p.m. Jamaica time. So it just came out half an hour ago. The Hurricane Center states here, an airflow pressure could form this weekend over the Western Caribbean Sea. Thereafter, some slow development of this system is possible through early next week, while the system moves slowly to the north or northwest over the northwestern Caribbean Sea. And we see that they've given it a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 48 hours, that's the next 2 days, and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And they say that it's going to be moving slowly towards the north, if not towards the northwest. And whatever comes of this system will definitely drench the Western Caribbean, even portions of Jamaica, with some amount of rainfall. And 'tis the season. We're in the peak of our hurricane season, and we're in the peak of our rainy season, especially considering that we're heading into October, the wettest month of the year for most of these countries right here. So it all makes sense that something is trying to form. If we take a look at what the supercomputer models are showing, we're just going to be going out to the next 168 hours. So keep your eye right here at the timestamp. And we're going to be focusing our attention on the Western and Central Caribbean right here. For reference, we have Jamaica right here. So let us see exactly what unfolds regarding this system. So we're going to be looking at the Euro model first, then we're going to be looking at the GFS model afterwards. So as we go out in time to the next 168 hours, we're starting to see a moisture increase across portions of the Western Caribbean. By about Saturday, this is about 21 Z on Saturday, which is actually 4 p.m. on Saturday. We start to see the greens that we can see by the key on the right that represent anywhere from up to 2 to maybe up to 5 inches of rainfall on the darker greens, even some slight yellow colors in there as we continue to head out in time all the way up to the next 168 hours. We see that there hasn't been much change. A lot of moisture in and around the Western Caribbean spilling into portions of Jamaica as well. And by the end of the 168 hours, by 12 on Tuesday, September 24, that's about 7 a.m. on Tuesday, we start to see something right there to the east of Belize, maybe an area of low pressure, but that's just the Euro model. Let us see what the GFS model is showing for the same time frame. So as we go out in time, we're starting to see some moisture. Look at that. This is valid for this Saturday, 18th on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday, September 21. And we see a lot of greens and yellows, and some oranges in there to the south of Jamaica. As we continue to go out in time, we start to see it even more robust across Jamaica as well as to the west of us. We see something of an area of low pressure right there off the coast of Honduras. And as we continue to go out in time, we see what it does. It lifts northward just like what the Hurricane Center states by the end of 150 hours. Then as we continue and end right there at the 168 hours, we see something right there off the west coast of Cuba. A lot of rainfall stretching from Jamaica across the Cayman Islands into Cuba, especially Cuba, where we see these yellows, oranges, reds that represent all the way up the scale in terms of the inches of rainfall. That's just ridiculous rainfall in general. So regardless of development of this system that the Hurricane Center has highlighted, there is a lot of rainfall that's expected to come our way, stretching all the way from Jamaica across Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and even into portions of Central America. And we can see all of that being represented right here on the accumulated precipitation forecast map. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected over the next 168 hours, over the next 7 days in general. They're showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 18Z on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday, September 24. And look at the tremendous rainfall. First of all, the Euro is not as robust as the GFS, but look at the rainfall either way. We see all the way up to some purples in there, maybe some pinks, and even the maybe lighter shades of pinks in there. Kind of looks salmon color-ish. Right there to the south of Cuba, in and around Jamaica, the darker reds and purples that represent anywhere up to 2 to 3 inches of rainfall on the Euro model. The GFS definitely more robust, showing the salmon color, even getting all the way up into the lighter shades of blues that represent up to 12 inches of rainfall, especially to the west of Jamaica, across the Cayman Islands and the waters surrounding there. So there's definitely some consensus for an increase in rainfall over the next 7 days as this area of interest that the Hurricane Center has in its view, the Hurricane Center is observing, has a chance of development in general. Either way, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with exactly what takes place. So stay alert. 'Tis the season for some flash flooding. It only gets more downhill in terms of the bad weather from here. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can still see that we still have that stalled out frontal system right there across the northern portion of North Atlantic, stretching all the way into the southeastern US, into portions of Florida right there, with the numerous areas of low pressure attached to it. One of the area of low pressure definitely slammed into southeastern portion of the United States yesterday, which was potential tropical cyclone number 8. Didn't acquire the name Helene, but it definitely drenched the southeastern US, portions of South Carolina, North Carolina. We can see that we have a ridge of high pressure right here to the south of all of that activity, to the north, a tropical wave right here to the west of Jamaica, and we see the air flow pressure associated with the remnant of Gordon that has a chance of development as it pushes towards the north. Definitely feeling the effects of that frontal system pulling it northward. And we can also see a tropical wave right here to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can definitely see the long line of clouds associated with that frontal system and the numerous areas of low pressure attached to it right there into portions of Florida, the Bahamas, the southeastern United States. We can even see it spinning away right here across the waters to the north of the main development region. And we can also see the remnants of Gordon right there that has a chance of development as it pushes towards the north. The tropical wave that affected Jamaica today, but we didn't have much in the way of moisture associated with it. But I guess the Hurricane Center can see it to the west of us. We see a string of clouds right there, some moisture reaching all the way from the central Caribbean to the eastern Caribbean, all of which is pushing towards the west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure right there to the north. And we can see the clouds associated with the other tropical wave right there to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands. Most of the moisture associated with that across the intertropical convergent zone. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean a little later on. Let us focus your attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, September 17, 2024. It was predicted that parts of eastern Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall, then would have had some afternoon rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. And just for reference, we know western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Andrew, Kingston, and St. Thomas. And it was predicted that would have some morning rainfall across the east. So let's see exactly what unfolded. So we can see right here that a post was made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica at around 6:10 a.m. this morning. And by the way, keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can definitely see the Cuban Doppler radar images that were posted this early Tuesday morning. And it highlighted that we're receiving some morning rainfall as represented by the greens and the yellows within those greens. They represent some light to moderate to some slightly heavier rainfall across portions of St. Thomas, section of Portland. Some of this rainfall even made it as far as St. Mary and even portions of St. Anne as the rainfall pushed westward. And we can see the heavy rainfall right there that took place between Jamaica and Cuba, most of which was coming from Haiti in general and was pushing westward to the north of the island. Then by afternoon, it was predicted that would have had some afternoon rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes. But what took place was more of the thunderstorms across western Jamaica than anything else, considering the high cold cloud tops coming in across portion of eastern and central Jamaica, so it didn't contribute too much in the way of the daytime heating, triggering some thunderstorms across the central portion of the island. But we did indeed have a brief isolated thunderstorm right there across portions of northwestern St. Andrew, southern St. Mary. If we take a closer look, we can definitely see the sparkling white that's somewhere in here before all was said and done. But we see that for the most part, the thunderstorms was definitely located across western Jamaica, where we saw those sparkling white dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. Keep in mind that this post was made at around 2:45 p.m. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see exactly what unfolded. We definitely had that easterly flow across the island. Then we had the clouds building, especially across western Jamaica, St. James, Hanover, sections of Westmoreland got in on the mix. And if we take a look back at the infrared satellite images, we can see exactly what took place. The cumulonimbus clouds that we know are represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds definitely exploded across portions of St. James, sections of Hanover, Westmoreland for sure, where we had that afternoon thunderstorm activity. The rest of the island was definitely in the clear. And even if we take a look here at the live camera from Flatbridge, we can see that at around 3:19 p.m., the usual time for afternoon rainfall, we definitely had dry conditions in general. By the way, keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica's YouTube channel where they also show the Kingston Harbor, the panoramic city view, halfway tree crossroads, you name it. And they're planning on expanding the amount of cameras that they have out there as well. So stay tuned. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, it does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall today across eastern Jamaica in the morning, where we see those dots of blues, and then across western Jamaica, more so western Jamaica than northern Jamaica, across sections of Hanover, St. James, and Westmoreland for sure. Even although that map isn't 100% accurate, it does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall. And if we take a look here at the very latest infrared satellite image, as a matter of fact, let's reload these images so that we can have the very latest still image. And the very latest one is as of 45 minutes past the hour. And considering that it is 7:04 p.m. right now, this is showing the latest image that just came out at 6:45 p.m. And we can definitely see that majority of the island is clearing out from today's cloud cover. Some leftover thunderstorms right there to the northwest of the island right there. And if we take a look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar images, and this latest image just came out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time. And we can indeed make out that rainfall right there to the west and northwest of the island, as represented by the greens and the yellows. Most of the rainfall right there to the north of the Cayman Islands, right there across portions of Cuba as well. Some dots of greens right there to the south of St. Thomas and to the north of Portland as we speak, but nothing significant. And if we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military radar, we can see some rainfall right there off to the west of Haiti. We can see some of that rainfall that we just saw on the other Cuban radar across portions of central Cuba. And we can also see on the Cayman radar that rainfall that we saw to the north of the Cayman Islands. A lot of rainfall right there. Some of that rainfall on Cuba that we saw on the Cuban Doppler radar. Some of that rainfall that we just saw as well to the northwest and to the west of Jamaica. Most of the rainfall in and around the Cayman Islands, not much taking place across the Cayman Islands right now. Maybe some isolated shores right there across portions of those islands to the northeast of Grand Cayman. If we take a look at the live camera from Flatbridge, we can see, just like what we just saw, not much taking place. Definitely fair weather tonight. Not much in the way of rainfall today to cause the water to be rushing at all. No rainfall was really experienced upstream today to that effect to cause the river to come down, rushing down, or anything like that. And this will be the order of the night for most parishes. Definitely a fair night. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 28 degrees Celsius in Kingston. And if we take a look at the forecast for tomorrow at about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look here at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Wednesday. When calculated, that's about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some slight orange colors that represents on the key on the right, all the way up to 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of, let's see if we can find it. Alright, here we go. The normal temperatures for the month of September across Jamaica are about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And we know when calculated, 90 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 32.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 35 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on a Wednesday, given the 3 degrees Celsius rise in temperature, as you can see here by all of these oranges. So if you have to be going out, please ensure that you limit the non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. Seek shade when you're outside, dress down. Don't bother with the long sleeves or the long pants or long skirts. Please ensure that if you can, you take a cool shower or bathe or bath to help you cool down. Rest, eat more fruits than anything else, limit the amount of alcohol or caffeine that you're intaking, and stay hydrated. More water than anything else. You don't even have to be thirsty. Just drink some water in general. Stay hydrated as much as possible throughout the day. If we take a look here at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, we can see that majority of the Caribbean, the Western, well, the Gulf of Mexico, Northern South America, all of us were in the clear, as all the browns represent the Saharan dust should be across the waters of the main development regions, eastern to south central area, right there where the tropical wave is located, right there near the Cabo Verde Islands. Not much in the way of strong Saharan dust, and we're indeed grateful for that. We don't need the Saharan dust to be acting up our asthma or sinuses or causing very hazy skies one bit. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, not much change at all. If we take a closer look right here, if it's gonna be loading for me, I don't know why they chose to glitch out all of a sudden. Let's see. Alright, so here we go. Reloading these images. Alright, so here we go. So for tomorrow, in terms of the wave forecast, not much change. The lighter shades of blues across the Western Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico that represents 0 to 0.5 meter wave height, while the central to the Eastern Caribbean should be getting on those darker shades of blues that we know represent 1 to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging across the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico anywhere from 0 to 5, not across the central to the Eastern Caribbean where we see those brighter greens coming in from the east, averaging anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe even gusting to 20 knots in some spots. And we definitely see that flow from the east for the most part across the Caribbean. But if we take a look at what's in store for the close-up of Jamaica, we can definitely see the air is gonna be coming in from the east, and then maybe whatever happens during the afternoon is gonna be focused more so across central and western Jamaica for sure. All of that air is gonna be piling up there. That's where the least amount of winds are expected as usual. So we're gonna be having those cumulus clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. And the thing is, tomorrow, out of all of the days this week, could be the driest day of the week thus far. We don't have much entities in our neck of the woods, considering that we just had a tropical wave move by and high pressure is dominating. Don't really have troughing taking place. Don't see much upper level wind shear across the area that indicate troughing at all. So the air is definitely stable for the most part, which explains why most thunderstorms are gonna be, not really affecting us in a sense tomorrow, like how it really affected us last week. And if we take a look at the rainfall forecast to confirm this map from the year and this map from the GFS are both showing 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. And we definitely see the contrast, we see the differences. The Euro, for some reason, showing blues represent rainfall across eastern, central, and western Jamaica. It's going to be interesting to see how that fails. Let's see if the Euro actually wins over the GFS. Look at the GFS. GFS not showing much of anything at all. We can definitely see right there the whites right there for the most part that indicate little to no rainfall at all. So look closely. Most of these blues that represent rainfall are more so across inland areas of some central parishes, as well as across section of western Jamaica. So maybe section of southern Trelawney, southern St. James, eastern Hanover, eastern Westmoreland, and northern St. Elizabeth. And we know all of this is pushing from east to west, so those western parishes could be getting on even more rainfall, because we know the cockpit country is a hotbed for all of this afternoon rainfall. The Euro, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this plays out. I don't believe this one bit, but we'll see. My bet is on the GFS for sure. And we can see that both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are showing that there's going to be rainfall somewhere across Jamaica tomorrow, with the consensus for the most in for rainfall across western Jamaica. This map from the year and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Thursday, which is actually from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can definitely see that western Jamaica is going to be picking up the most rainfall. GFS going all the way up to these gold colors that represents maybe all the way up to 0.4 of an inch of rainfall. Euro showing all the way up to 0.47 of an inch of rainfall, with the oranges right there across northwestern Hanover. We'll see how that goes. Either way, we'll take it. We're in the month of September. We're in the peak of our rainy season. In Kingston, whose bar graph is shown right here at the top, we usually receive close to 100 millimeters of rainfall for the month. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive close to 175 millimeters of rainfall. Keep in mind that close to 100 millimeters of rainfall is about the same as 4 inches of rainfall, and close to 175 millimeters of rainfall is about the same as almost 7 inches of rainfall from Mobay. And if you'd like to see what your specific parish receives for the month of September or throughout the year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com. And regarding the rainfall totals from the rain gauge, you can do the math yourself, considering that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see right here that we definitely have some moisture coming into portions of the Windward Islands right there. A ton of moisture, I might add. Definitely lashing from Barbados westward, sections of Grenada, St. Vincent, sections of maybe northern Trinidad and Tobago right there. We can also see the usual afternoon thunderstorms across portions of northern South America, Central America as well. And we can also see the thunderstorms that portions of Cuba got today. We spoke about this in yesterday's video, that they would have been getting the brunt of today's rainfall. You can also see some of that rainfall across the Cayman, well, not the Cayman Islands, the Bahamas right there, as well as the leftovers from potential tropical cyclone number 8 across the southeastern United States right there. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, not expecting to see much at all, considering that the most isolated rainfall is across the Windward Islands. But we do see some rainfall in and around the area. Some rainfall to the east of Guadeloupe, to the north of St. Martin and Antigua and Barbuda. Most of the rainfall right there affecting portion of northeastern Puerto Rico as we speak, maybe portion of the British Virgin Islands. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images from earlier today, Puerto Rico didn't get in on much rainfall, even though we do see some rainfall across western Puerto Rico. The usual afternoon rainfall, some rainfall to the south of Puerto Rico as well. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out the rainfall that we just saw by the tongue of moisture on the satellite images. Some rainfall right there to the south of Martinique. Some other rainfall passing to the south of Barbados. Rainfall definitely affecting portions of the Grenadine Islands as well as Grenada right here. If we scroll down, not seeing much affecting Trinidad and Tobago, but we can rule out some rainfall across one or the other islands, maybe Trinidad or Tobago later on tonight into tomorrow. If we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall, that portion of Cuba is now being affected by. Some of the rainfall across portions of the Bahamas, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula, sections of Honduras, and even that rainfall across portions of northeastern Venezuela as well. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map from the year and this map from the GFS are both showing where it's going to be raining from now up until 10 p.m. on a Wednesday. We can definitely see that more rainfall is in store for sections of the Bahamas, Florida, Cuba, the Cayman Islands. Some isolated rainfall for especially western Jamaica. Some rainfall for portions of the Dominican Republic, maybe northeastern portion of that island, section of Puerto Rico, section of the US and British Virgin Islands. There's some isolated showers, maybe St. Martin, St. Kitts. Well, we see the brunt of tomorrow's rainfall for the eastern Caribbean should be anywhere to the south of Guadeloupe, like Dominica, maybe sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, sections of maybe Trinidad, not so much Tobago, but definitely Trinidad. We can also see some rainfall in store For Northern South America, areas like Guyana, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula as well. And we see that both the Euro and the JFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.